Vanessa, so the last time that you were here, we spoke about the relationship you had with your sister. During this session, I would like to talk to you about your ex, which we briefly touched upon the last time. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Okay. So, tell me about your ex. What was he like?
He was basically the exact opposite of me. Like, we couldn't have been any more different. Religion, politics, everything. Like, totally different. But I guess they say, like, opposites attract. So that's great, but it doesn't really last. Like, it doesn't work in the end because you end up like, disagreeing on everything. And I was actually in Virginia this last weekend visiting my sister. So, like, I had to be around, like, the whole area, like, where I used to live with him. So that was just, like, that was really weird for me.
Did it make you feel, uncomfortable, or did it bring back memories?
It just brings back memories. Like, I've been there a few times since we broke up. So it's not like this is the first time I've been there and, like, without him. But it's still, like, I remember when I lived here with him, and I remember going out to dinner here, or, like, going here, and, like, it just brings it all back. And especially, like, I found out this weekend that he's engaged. Ooh. So I was just like, wow, okay.
That must have been tough to hear.
Yeah, it was just weird. Like, I shouldn't really be that surprised because he's someone that, like, moves really quickly with relationships. But at the same time, like, we were, like, planning a future, and now, like, he's really, like, settling down with someone else. Like, he's actually, like, going to make it official and, like, be with this woman, well, plan on being with this person forever. It's just weird.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel almost as if, not exactly gypped is the wrong word, but almost like you missed out on something, or do you feel content that,
I wouldn't say that I feel like I missed out. Like, I broke up with him, and, like, I was, like, ready to move on, and I knew, like, it wasn't going to work, and I wouldn't want to get back together with him. But at the same time, it was always, like, he's still out there, like, it's not totally all. I mean, I didn't want to get back together with him, but at the same time, like, we're both, like, out there doing our own thing. Like, you never know. I could see him again. But
so a bit of maybe, like, false hope, or...
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he was the only guy that I ever was in love with. So I'll always have that. Even though I'm not in love with him anymore, I'll always have, like, a feeling for him, a certain kind of feeling that, like, I only had with him, like, regardless of, if I'm dating someone else. Like, I've dated people since we broke up. It's not, like, a big deal to me that he was dating someone else. It's just so much more official when they're, like, engaged.
Yeah, that still must have been rough hearing that. But
yeah.
It seems as if you're taking it very well.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm okay with it. Like, when my brother-in-law told me, I wasn't like, oh my god, I'm so upset. I was just more surprised. Like, wow.
Like
and it's mostly, like, it's hard to believe that it's been that long. It's been 1.5 years since I broke up with him. Like, it blows my mind that it's been that long. But, I mean, he jumped into his new relationship 2 weeks after we broke up.
Only 2 weeks.
I mean, I feel like she was probably there when my stuff was still in the apartment. Like, I don't know how she could be okay with that. Like, I'm still, like, I don't want to be in another relationship, and it's been 1.5 years.
So that makes you angry, right?
It bothers me a little bit. I mean, when I found out, like, after we broke up, and when I found out that he had a new girlfriend that fast, it kind of bothered me because he was so upset when we broke up, and, like, he tried to get me back, and, like, he was really, like, emotional. And it was just weird. Like, how do you go from that to, like, oh, here's a new girlfriend, like, no big deal, like, I don't know. I was just, like, surprised. So I guess finding out, like, they're engaged is just as surprising. Like, I don't know. Like, I can see maybe being engaged to someone in the future, but I'd want to be with them for a while before that. And I'd want to be, like, engaged for a while before getting married.
So they were together for a shorter amount of time than you two were together? Or do you know?
We were together for almost 3 years. And they were together less than 1.5 years.
So, yeah, just like you were saying, you'd
like
to know with someone a little while before you
got
like
engaged. Even him and I were together 3 years, and we had talked about marriage, but had he proposed, I would have been like, this is a little early. Like, I want to wait until I'm older. Like, I want to have more life experiences before I'm like, okay, let's settle down and have a house and a family. Like, I don't think that people should rush into things, and I almost wonder if she might be, like, pregnant or something.
Do you think that could be a possible cause of the engagement?
Yeah, because his family is super religious, which was one of the problems with our relationship, because I'm Catholic and he's non-denominational. and to me they're like crazy. I don't have the best view of their ideas and their religion, and it's very like strict. But yeah, so I think that might be it. I think it could be that she's pregnant. I mean, I'm not saying that's definitely it. Like, I want him to be happy. I hope like they have a great wedding and like they're, you know, they don't get divorced. But I do wonder like what are the reasons for it, you know?
Yeah. You say that you mentioned a couple times that you guys, you know, clashed with certain topics. Did that ever spark arguments in the past? Like, was there large arguments, small?
Well, the thing is, like, I have no problem like having an argument. I feel like if you have feelings about something and something's bothering you, you need to let it out. Because if you don't, you're gonna keep it bottled up and you're just gonna like explode at once. So I would try to talk it out, and he'd be like, "No, I'm done," and he'd like go in the other room and shut the door. I'd be like, "Okay, well, we're still in the middle of an argument. Like, it's not gonna be resolved if you just walk away. How's that gonna work?" So like I know, even though like I loved him, I know I couldn't be with another person like him. I couldn't be with another guy that's so different from me. Like, even though it was great in the beginning, I like just, I don't know if I fell out of love with him or if it like dawned on me that we were really not right for each other. But he was too different, like way too different.
So your differences split you guys apart, or was it other reasons?
Yeah, I mean, well, it was like, you know, thinking about the future, like, okay, if we had gotten married and had kids together, how would we raise those kids? He would want to raise them a certain religion. I'd want to raise them a different one. He would influence them politically one way, and I would influence them a different way. And just like, there were just a lot of ways that were different. I'm like, I save money, and like, I always make sure I have money to pay all my bills. He gets into debt and borrows money from me. That's how it always was when we lived together. And I don't know how that can work when like one person's like, I'm gonna go spend $1,000 on a mountain bike, and the other person's like, no, you shouldn't. You can't like pay the bills if you spend all your money on like miscellaneous toys and stuff. Like, that's not gonna work.
So it seems as if you were the bigger person in the relationship.
I like to think so, but I mean, I don't know. I just think he was too like immature, and I think he needs someone to take care of him. I think that's why he jumped into the relationship so quickly, is because he needs like a mom figure. Like his mom, when I lived with him, his mom moved to a different state. She moved to Ohio. So I feel like when I moved in with him, it was like, oh, guess what? You get to take on the mom role, and you can cook for me and do my laundry. And, you know, if I run low on money, you can bail me out, and you can, you know, help chip in for the bills that, like I found myself at times paying more than half of the bills. And, like,
really?
That's really not right. And my friends even say to this day, they're like, how did you go out with him for that long when, like, he really didn't treat you that well? He would, like, fight you over $1. Like, if I didn't, I'd pay for half for everything. Going out to dinner, like, drinks, everything. And if I was, like, $1 short, he'd be like, come on, like, what the heck?
That must have been annoying. Huh?
Yeah, so then when I moved back home and, like, I went out with nicer guys that, like, really know how to, like, treat someone, they pay for dinner. I'd be like, oh, no, take it. And no, I got this. And I'm like, wow, like,
so
thank you. Like, I appreciated it so much. I don't expect that from guys. But, like, when they do that, I just find it, like, I don't know, I really appreciate it.
Yeah, that must have been really nice.
Yeah, it's a big change, definitely.
Especially if you're not used to it.
Yeah.
And you're always the one, you know, giving more money or something like that.
Yeah. It just drove me crazy because, like, he'd buy something for himself, and then he'd be like, oh, can you help me out with the water bill? Like, well, if you hadn't spent that money on something miscellaneous, you could have used it to pay the bills.
Mm-hmm. Now, how old was he? And how old were you when you guys were together?
When we moved in together, I was 19 and he was 20.
Mm-hmm. And you guys broke up at what age?
I was 21. We were dating when I was 18. But we moved in together when I was 19. Mm-hmm. And then I broke up with him when I was 21.
Okay. And how old was he?
When we got together?
When you guys
started dating?
Up,
when we broke up? He must have been 22. He's a year older than me.
Okay. And was his mother around at all, or?
No, they lived in a different state, so, like, we'd see them now and then. Mm-hmm. And, like, he knew I was really close to my family and that I had a lot of trouble, like, being away from them. So that was, like, a big problem with it, too. I always said, like, I want to move back to Jersey. I want to be near my family. And he'd say, like, that might not happen. We have to go where my job is. Yeah, and then when we broke up, it was like, we can go wherever you want. Like, okay, things have changed.
Okay, we're good.
Cool.
Oh,